Sanitation in South America. Sanitation is incredibly important to human health. Water is one of the most common transmitters of diseases because people use it to drink, clean themselves and their belongings, and most importantly, to dispose of their wastes. Over South America's history, sanitation has caused many problems. As recent as the 1990s, South America had an epidemic of cholera that was an effect of globalization and urbanization. The effect of globalization on sanitation can be separated into two categories: rural and peri-urban communities. With globalization, there is a greater focus on the industrialization of agriculture for profit, where farmers are likely to use chemical fertilization and pesticides to grow crops quicker and more efficiently. In South America, 80% of water is used for agriculture. Countries like Brazil and Colombia are now the greatest consumers of DDT, paraquat, and heptachlor. These chemicals serve important purposes in South America, like preventing the transmission of malaria, but these chemicals have hazardous effects on human health. Agricultural chemicals can be extremely toxic even in small doses, inhibiting neurological functions and causing acute pesticide poisoning. Agricultural runoff is also unregulated in South America, and 60% of water is untreated in rural areas, allowing runoff from pesticides and fertilizers to contaminate rivers and wastewater. Globalization and urbanization have also led to an increase in peri-urban or slum communities, which arise around urban areas. 30% of these residents do not receive potable water, either from wells or water trucks, and only 10% of wastewater is treated. This creates a very dangerous situation for slum dwellers, as they are in very close quarters, living in unsanitary conditions. This, unfortunately, is the perfect scenario for spreading waterborne diseases. One of the UN's Millennium Development Goals is to halve the number of people without access to improved water by 2015, but most of their efforts have been focused elsewhere. South American studies have shown that increasing access to piped water would greatly decrease infant mortality due to waterborne diseases, but there have been some bumps in the road to increase sanitation for rural and peri-urban communities. Government action. The government, in most cases, is good at avoiding sanitation work. Municipalities often do not aid peri-urban communities due to their impermanent nature. Government regulations of rural communities are slim due to the lack of infrastructure and funding. Privatization. Theoretically, when municipalities cannot provide services for their community, private companies will take over. But in many South American countries, privatization does not work for peri-urban or rural communities because there is an associated risk, and so returns are more uncertain. So, as South American residents, what is your next move?
Created using Powtoon.